Do these sound bites sound familiar? Where's the report? The meeting's tomorrow already. I'm sorry if I'm sorry for the rush, but could you please come up with a presentation by the end of the day? When things are going too fast, take a break. Catch up on the hot topics and issues of the day on the Manila Times Coffee Break. Enjoy the perks of Coffee Break on the Manila Times Facebook page. I'm the Fort Villasran. Please do join us. Good day. Greetings and salutations, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Manila Times Coffee Break. For our webisode for today, we will be discussing the legal challenges and opportunities that work during a pandemic. And joining us are lawyers from GIA Law, and I took the opportunity of asking each one of them to give a brief backgrounder on one another, just to break the ice. So without further ado, may I ask Attorney Hazel Dane Bautista to introduce her colleague, Attorney Jerwin Richard Romano.
Good day, everyone. So today I'd like to introduce to you Attorney Jerwin Romano. I call him J. Romano because he was my friend since we were in third year law school. So he graduated from the University of Santo Tomas with a degree in political science, and he also graduated from San Beda University, taking up bachelor's of law. So right now he is handling various criminal, civil, labor, and immigration law cases. So um, since he was my friend since before, I know that he is a kind of lawyer who actually takes his work seriously. And when I say seriously, he doesn't just comply, but he actually gives his best for the case and for the client. So without further ado, this is Attorney J. Roman.
Thank you very much, Attorney Bautista. Attorney Romano, do you concur with Attorney Bautista's statement? Do you have any objections?
Well, dun sa pagiging friend. No, joke.
So, Attorney Romano, again, if I may ask you this time to introduce your other colleague, Attorney Shimichi Cordell Domantay. Did I get her name correctly? It's
Yes,
very
yes.
unusual.
Yes, yes. So, good day, everyone. Today, I would like to introduce you a friend of mine and a classmate of mine, Attorney Srimichi Cordell Domantay. She is a graduate of San Beda University in 2018. And I think she is the youngest to graduate from the batch. And I think, not to brag, she is the one of the youngest to take up the bar in 2018. I think she only took up the bar at the age of 23, and she became a lawyer at the age of 24.
Wow.
Yes, working with Attorney Dumantay is some kind of cozy because as everyone knows her, she is quiet, and but when it comes to studies and handling cases, she is very serious, and she is known to have handled many cases, and I think one of which is a controversial one, which she handles very good. So without further ado, this is Attorney Srimichi Cordell Damantay.
So, Attorney Romano, can I ask you to give your first impression of Attorney Dumantay? Perhaps whether in a court of law, your law firm, or even way back when you knew each other in during your law studies.
Well, when we were in law school, she is very quiet. She talks to only a few persons, so I think it's hard to approach her. But
So very
that
truly
was
siya.
yes, that was still in. I think we were second year law school, but when we were still classmates in third year, and we I think we also had subjects in fourth year that we became classmates. I eventually knew her, and I know that she is, although she is quiet, she can hit some jokes from one time, from, yes, and I think she takes her job seriously, and although she is difficult to approach sometimes because of because some persons have resting bitch face. So
Attorney Dumantay, could
Yeah.
we ask you to perhaps to debunk their statements with perhaps a joke,
A joke.
or if we may, if you could please introduce Attorney Socrates.
Yes. Good day, everyone. I would like to introduce Attorney Tomas Inigo Socrates. He just recently passed the bar, and he graduated from University of Santo Tomas. My first impression with Attorney Tomas Socrates, he's quiet, but
Oh,
also
okay.
yes,
So you're all
he
calling each other quiet. I'm starting to doubt if this is all true. Huh? It's like, what's siya tahimik? Hindi siya tahimik. And then it's like, yung pala
first
everyone's like,
impression quiet.
okay.
Um, uh, he also takes his work seriously, and he makes sure that everything is good when he goes to hearings and in drafting his pleadings.
Mhm. Attorney Socrates.
Yes.
You actually, if I may note, you mentioned earlier that your family name is more often pronounced in the Filipino fashion as a Socrates,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, any comments about Attorney Domantay's statements about
Uh,
silence and seriousness?
um, I would like to thank her for the kind words, and I agree. Uh, Sometimes I give that impression of being silent, but maybe from time to time naman I also get to start conversations, and uh, siguro it's just because I was new in the firm, and also sometimes I think people get it sometimes when you just try to observe instead of uh,
I get this impression that a number of you are actually observing, thinking, analyzing, and doing a lot of the work already, while everyone else is just whiling the time away. Would you say the same of Attorney Bautista? Do you have the same
uh,
impression?
um, well, it's quite different because when I met Attorney Hazel, should I introduce her already?
Yes, please. Attorney
Okay.
Hazel Dean Bautista, correct?
Yes. So here, let me introduce Attorney Hazel Lane Bautista to everyone. Hello. She uh, she took up her undergrad in DLSU, De La Salle University, with a Bachelor of Arts in Communication Arts. Uh, and then her law degree was obtained from San Beda University. So actually, all of the junior associates in the firm, they're from San Beda. I'm the only one from UST law.
Mhm. And what do you
Um,
have to say about that?
well, okay lang naman. I find it interesting because uh, I have very few acquaintances from San Beda, but now nagulat ako na dito sa law firm, I suddenly have friends who are from San Beda Law. So
What's your impression of Bedan law graduates, particularly
I,
Attorney Bautista?
I think they're serious. I find them competitive and very in Tagalog we call it palaban. Parang medyo palaban sila yung mga taga San Beda. So that's my impression. That's my impression. And my impressions are confirmed when I started working with them. So magaling yung mga taga San Beda.
Wow, wow. You have very glowing words, Attorney Bautista, regarding your professionalism. Well, Attorney Bautista, given that the firm where you work, GIA Law, correct? That's GIA Law.
Yes.
Yes, it stands for Gargantiel, Ilagan, and Atanante, right?
Yes.
How would you describe then the incorporators, particularly Christian Vicente Gargantiel, as
Yeah.
a lawyer or even as a mentor to you, and as a man of principle? How would you say he embodies the practice of law and the law firm of GL Law?
Mhm. Actually, Attorney Chris Gergenfeld is the founding partner of GL. So, during my interview, I was interviewed actually by Attorney Roel Ilagan, but it was Attorney Chris Gergenfeld who actually um, is actually hospitable during the time that I wasn't in the interview room yet. So I find him at first, I find him very humble and very open to everyone. So and then when I get to know him more as a mentor and him being the lead counsel in numerous high profile and complex cases, he's the kind of mentor who empowers us to be the best lawyers ourselves. So how did I say that? I can say that because um, I was hired in the firm and I was still an underbar associate, meaning I haven't passed the bar yet. I was actually waiting for the results of the exam.
Is that a rare
However,
thing? Is that unusual for
yeah,
that
yeah,
opportunity?
yes, that is unusual because of course most firms would prefer those who already passed the bar, correct? So that they wouldn't waste time to find another associate. So
Maybe
um,
that's a testament to your skill and capability, or would you say that's really more of his support to his people and to the people that he looks to hire?
I think it goes both ways though. So um, Attorney Chris actually calls us attorney already during that time. If you are a person who just recently took the bar and you do not know if you already passed it yet, being called attorney is different. Okay? It empowers you. It gives you like the power to decide on the cases
Mhm.
without having much control. We supervise you, yes, but not control you to the nitty gritty of the case. It's on you. Parang you have the discretion and you have the wisdom to decide on your cases. So that's why I can say that he empowers us to become the best lawyers ourselves. And um, in other words, he does not dim our light. He wants us all to illuminate as a team, as a firm. And that's what is great about him. Also, he pushes us to do our best and he acknowledges our contributions to the team. So all of this being a good mentor actually showed that he is also a great lawyer. He is someone that we are looking up to, especially when it comes to litigation. In fact, Asia Business Law Journal recognized Attorney Chris Bergenkel as one of the top 100 lawyers in 2020. So imagine that, correct? Imagine having being trained by such a man. So we have nothing else to say about him aside from those good words.
He sounds like a shining light sa legal industry, local industry natin.
Yes.
What would you say would be his field of expertise then in the entire range,
Uh,
entire spectrum ng legal practice? Ano yung particular areas where he truly excels among other types of law practice? And how would you say that relates to you? Because you mentioned that he is your mentor. Are you then also sort of following in his footsteps in that type of expertise or specialization?
all right. So as you know, GIA Law is actually a full service law firm. So we cater to different cases like criminal law, civil, labor, immigration. However, Attorney Gergendiel is an expert on dispute resolution, and also he is a sought after professor in the academy. He has been teaching criminal law for I think 10 to 15 years, I guess. And having said that, his knowledge when it comes to criminal law cases, of course, you're somehow inheriting that kind of knowledge, right? His style in litigation is a very different one because he is a person who strategizes the legal steps that we should take even before we get there.
That's interesting you mentioned strategy because that's something that very much comes into play now with the whole world scenario. Everything has changed, right? So, how have strategies changed in light of the pandemic in terms of the legal practice in your field of specialization?
Uh, um, when it comes to our strategy in the legal practice, um, ano kasi, I can say that we are somehow slow in our development, especially when it comes to the digitalization rather of
Mhm. When you say we, that's the law practice in the Philippines in general.
general, yes. Of course, we couldn't help it because that's the current rule. Eh. We have to like physically file and serve voluminous papers. So when the pandemic hit us, it became almost impossible to do it.
Mhm.
However, I can say
There have been certain rulings, I think, for with the courts where scanned documents are allowed now.
yes, yes, correct. There's now a rule on online filing, online service, and at the same time, our firm also is very quick in adapting to that. We have um, actually the partners they have actually developed ways in order to cope because otherwise you'll die, di ba, in this
Yes,
country.
yes.
So
Especially since the office is located in Quezon City, right, which is unique in itself. Most law firms are in BGC and Makati and other uh, more major, or rather, the designated business districts of the capital. Whereas it's more unusual to have a law office in Quezon City. But given the original strategy, which was to be closer to the courts, which out of which are in Quezon City, and at the same time to be able to cater to the market in the area which is relatively untapped,
yeah.
was also strategic for GLO. How has COVID-19 also affected that strategy in terms of the business, the entrepreneurship aspect of the law practice?
So again, the Supreme Court and most government agencies um, immediately issued like rules and regulations to allow even online hearings, and also to accept documents and pleadings online through our email. So
Mhm.
that is a very big change because pre-pandemic we didn't know that it would be possible. We are just in this status quo since nothing is pushing the legal practice to adjust or to adapt to the digital world, correct?
Mhm.
So now that the pandemic happened, we have no other choice but to do so.
Well, apart from the digitalization and the virtual interaction amongst the judges and the lawyers and the plaintiffs and so forth, what other challenges and consequently opportunities that have
Mm.
presented themselves? Maybe they were there before, but now they're more acute and clearly something that you can either have to fix or take advantage of.
Yeah, so the pandemic actually forced a lot of small and medium enterprises to stutter, correct?
Mhm. Yes.
So during the first few weeks of the quarantine, everything was uncertain. However, the partners at GIA made sure that everyone is safe and
Mhm.
everyone is actually surviving. We have been provided food and even vitamins. Then safety. They also made sure that safety and sanitation are well in place. So aside from that, in the legal practice, I think our clients also um, had a hard time in adjusting during the first 3 weeks of the quarantine. So as soon as our clients got their bearings around
Mhm.
June, considering that many businesses lost their revenue streams, a lot of work came from areas of collection, taxation.
Yes. I imagine the legal practice presents a lot of business opportunities in times of trouble.
Yes, correct. And even, for example, in labor law, right, Attorney Romano, um, with regard to employees um, who had no other choice but to leave off because of the pandemic, of course, we are the parties, the
So you
employees.
do tackle a lot of legal for a lot of labor cases, right?
Yes, we do.
Mhm. So I think for our viewers now, they might want to consider GIA law for any of their labor questions and concerns. The
Yes,
doors are wide open.
yes, of course. Mm.
And perhaps we could ask you then, in line with that, given our current health and financial uh, situation, what pro bono advice could you give for people, for workers, for professionals, and people in the Philippines in terms of the legal practice opportunities that you'd be able to share with them or give them as your personal advice?
So my advice is for people to keep the law as a preventive measure rather than a remedial measure. So let me explain myself on that. Preventive meaning before you enter into contracts or before you do or decide to enter into any legal transaction, make sure that all the decisions and all the terms and conditions are amenable to you. And because if not, it is highly likely that the law would be treated as a remedial measure. Meaning, attorney, pumirma ka dito sa contract na to. Pero nakalagay, ano pala, hindi ko pala pwede ma-refund to kasi kahit may pandemic kasi nakalagay non-refundable. Paano na to? So, if it is, if the law is treated as a preventive measure, una pa lang, hindi na aabot sa ganung point na non-refundable na pala yung bibigyan ng down payment, for example. Correct?
Yes.
So, parang ganon, you should take into account that the law is there to protect you in the first place. Rather than you actually enforcing what you want nung natapos na yung contract, nung nakapag-enter ka na into the transaction. So, it would save you a lot of trouble if pandemic happens again.
Again, well, at least you are prepared for the next one. We feel a little more confident that GeoLaw can get us through the next pandemic. Attorney Romana, is this something that you've experienced also in your practice? Are you aligned with labor and contractual obligations?
Yes, to be honest, most of my works lately are related to labor because some of our clients are corporations, and I think most of the businesses were hit by the pandemic. They experienced financial losses, and I think to the extent of closure. So our clients mostly ask for the advices on what to do with their employees. For example, they need to implement cost cutting schemes, and they need to retrench their employees. So we process those procedures for them, and however, we also protect their employees as well. We make sure that uh, their rights under the law are also given to them, and also we are accommodating them if they have questions regarding to the effects of their termination, for example. So there.
Would you say that this approach is very much influenced by the personality and the professional practice of attorney Ruel Ilagan, the one of the founders of GLO?
Yes, because in Gia law, Attorney Ruel is known to have this motto: it's better to err in the side of caution. So, being a cautious man, he always demands preparation. He always makes sure that all things are in their proper places, because it's better to to be caution. It's better to be cautious in the first place than to address what errors may have occurred if you've been negligent.
Mhm.
So so knowing Attorney Rowell, he is he is the man that uh, keeps you mandated to be outright all the time.
Is
He,
Attorney Ilagan's field of legal specialization also along the lines of labor law and practices?
not so, but he also handles labor cases. But Attorney Rowell mostly handles criminal and civil cases.
Just like
Uh,
you, would you
yes,
say he's your mentor?
yes. I think we because in GLO we have this structure of group. I think it's groups structure.
Mhm.
So we have a team who handles the cases, and I and Attorney Rowell works a lot.
So, how would you say the cases that you've handled lately uh, been of a different flavor or have changed in their nature due to the coronavirus pandemic?
It's very difficult, honestly, because we back in law school, we were used to study the basics in law school, the basic in the practice of law. And I think a year of practice in GLO, I have adapted to that. But when the pandemic hit, we need to adapt to a new environment. So we need to be familiar with the new rules on online filing. We need to be familiar on the rules on approaching the government agencies, because mostly I think government agencies uh, want the people's concern to be online, to be given to them online. So I think we should. The pandemic taught us to be more resilient and to be more flexible, because uh, in this times nothing is certain. So anything may change. So this effect taught us to be more vigilant on our practice.
Can we get into the flexibility of the study of law? I understand that you took up or you have a background with San Beda law, and that's the
Yes.
same with Attorney Ilagan. He's also from San Beda College of Law. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mhm. And I understand that he became a name partner in GLO in around 7 years ago,
Yes.
2013. So in
Mhm.
that span of time, how much has the study of law evolved, particularly now in this age of blended learning in terms of law study? Would you be aware? Are you still in touch with people in San Beda Law?
Well, I think back when we were in law school, of course we need to attend classes daily. We need to be present in our classes.
Mhm.
But during this pandemic, the study of law became more difficult because everything is online. So it is very unusual for for the classes to be conducted in physical to conduct physical classes.
Mhm.
So I think the study of law, yeah, evolved in a different way, which we did not expect,
Mhm.
because today students need to attend online classes, and if they need to be absent, well, because of their internet or because they were hit by typhoon, it is very difficult for them to communicate and to gain access to studies. So I think there are bad effects of having online classes as well.
How about in terms of your practice then, your law practice, and how the impact of of all these challenges, storms, connectivity difficulties, and of course the pandemic. In terms of your personal experience in GLO, how would you could you share with us your personal struggles?
Uh, yes, like what I've said a while ago. We need to familiarize ourselves to new rules like how to have online filing, how to inquire to government agencies through online. So it is very difficult for us because we did not expect that to happen.
Mhm.
We were trained to be uh, we were trained to communicate personally. We were trained to appear in courts personally. So it part of that is not being practiced today. So due to the pandemic, we were obliged to adopt to a new normal, which is I think very difficult for some other for persons
Mhm.
who do not have the access to this online world.
How do
So
you personally compensate for the lack of personal interaction, the face-to-face connection? What are your personal strategies, or how do you make it at least? How do you try to bridge that gap and make it more personable, even if
well,
you're
it's
you're
kind
just
of
looking
funny.
at a screen?
Yes, because it's kind of funny because since we cannot assure that the pleadings we file or the letters we file were actually received by the recipient we intend, we always keep on following up them. So parang kinukulit namin sila, ganun.
Mhm.
Because if we do not do that, it's our loss. Because
Mhm.
they may say, hindi namin natanggap yan, ganyan.
Mhm.
So we need to adapt to changes na it will be beneficial for us and it will be uh, para ma-assure namin na it's almost the same as the physical practice.
So, Attorney Domantay, can we ask you to please tell us more about the other pillar of GLO, Attorney Marcelino Michael, or is it Michelle or Michael Atanante?
Michael.
So, Attorney Marcelino Michael Atanante, who I understand is also the fourth. Pareho kaming katukayo na the fourth.
Yes. I do not actually know what Attorney Mike does. Okay. So, kidding aside, as a lawyer, Attorney Mike is an amazing negotiator, and I think he already found his expertise, like in tax and aviation. Um, he is also generous, and he motivates us, and he gives us advice in being a lawyer and in life as well.
This is not a paid advertisement, no? Wala kang
No,
in-expect na bonus for Christmas.
May bonus
no.
yan.
But could you please share with us your initial impression of him when you first met, when you first came into the office? I understand you come with good credentials. They handpicked you. You had expectations. Did he measure up to your expectations? Were you pleasantly surprised?
Actually, at first, when I was new here, I didn't quite much see Attorney Mike. He was always outside the office. Then when I met him, I was quiet then. So medyo ano siya, he asks questions and he makes you feel comfortable naman. He tries to make conversations and get to know you well.
Mhm. So,
Yes.
having gotten to know him well, also, you realized,
Hmm.
learned that part of his expertise would be taxation, correct?
Yes.
Um,
Taxation.
how have his set of legal skills, his specializations, uh, been affected, or how have they evolved with our current health crisis and financial situation?
Actually, he specializes in. He is also a corporate lawyer, and he specializes in aviation, taxation, and affairs. As we may know, the aviation industry, the air cargo and private charters, um, it became important during this pandemic when commercial passenger aircrafts were mostly grounded due to lack of passengers and tourists.
Mhm.
Um, so we were able to establish local and international air cargo company and new air taxi companies during this pandemic as well. So it's more of an advice for the corporations and yes, for the corporations with regard to um, the effect of this pandemic with the industry.
So, can we tackle first the fortunate events, these opportunities that came about because of the pandemic, in terms of business, in terms of legal practice?
I think one of the fortunate events as well is the digitalization. For example, in SEC, some before this pandemic, there was no what do you call this online registration. It's more of an actually personal registration of companies, filing of the GIS and the financial statements. When this pandemic occurred, SEC issued memos for the online filing uh, and registrations of the company
Mhm.
of companies. Yes. So sometimes I think it's quicker this way because
But
we can
that wasn't readily available before, like even last year or 2 years ago?
know it was harder to follow up
Mhm.
on registrations and filings before they issued these memos on online filings and registrations.
So now it's a lot safer for people to take care of their business requirements.
Yes,
Or
they can
are
do it
government
online.
agencies also more lax in terms of deadlines and submission of requirements?
It's not more on lax, but it's more on what they call this. Um, mm, I can't find.
Opportunities, maybe they provide you with more platforms or channels to
Yes, they
take care of.
provide with more platforms or channels so that the processing of the papers would be easier.
Mhm.
It's more convenient there.
How would you say, in terms of your personal experience, right? What percentage is everything more contactless, more virtual now? Can you, from the safety of your home, take care of your business requirements, or do you still have to go out and brave the risk of face-to-face interaction with government agencies?
I can't say how many percentage, but I think because there are still some processes that we have to go to the a government office to follow to do the follow ups and to take care of the business registrations.
Mhm.
So
Do
maybe
you also interact with clients themselves? Do they approach you?
yes,
Mhm.
through phone calls.
May I ask you to give an example, the personal journey of a client? Let's say, picture yourself or imagine yourself in the shoes of a client. Someone calls you up. How do they overcome first of all, they're not even sure what they want. They just know they have a problem. They don't know how to fix it. I need a lawyer. Okay, I'll try GLO. So they contact you. Let's say they happen to have your number or the number of the office, and they call, and you're the one who answers. Could you guide them through the process of a particular type of need that they would have that you can personally service or provide
Mhm.
relief in terms of legal problem nila?
First, I would ask them for the facts of what they want to consult.
Mhm.
Ask them what happened and how it happened. Then from there, you ask them what they want to do next, and you also want to give your advice on what you can do for them.
So, given that, what kind of advice can you give for people nowadays in terms of the opportunities and challenges that they're encountering?
Um, like what Attorney Bautista said earlier, it's more of a preventive measure than a remedial measure. So it's better if you seek advice at first before you do something than to seek advice than to just what do you call this, remedy what happened earlier when you failed to seek that advice.
To what extent then can people advise? Imagine initially there would be that hesitation. We all know that lawyers have billable hours. They can get advice easily or for free, except for certain pro bono situations. So, how would you encourage people to ask questions, and terms of their legal concern? How would you draw the line? Maybe what can they ask? What's How do they overcome that initial reservation? Kasi baka mahal eh. How can you encourage them to say, hey, it's more expensive to not get advice?
Yeah, it's more expensive not to get advice than rather than doing some preventive measures to remedy. I'm sorry. It's you got this. Sorry.
Because I'm sure you've had experiences of people going to you when it's a little too late, or when they already
Mm,
hesitated and made a
mm.
decision that could have been fixed if they had called you in the first place.
Yes.
You
So
can give an example. That way, people can get the picture better.
it's I think it's more expensive to remedy a situation which in the first place could have been prevented. So that's I think one main reason that they can think of.
Hmm. Maybe we can ask Attorney Socrates, as the can you say that you're the freshman of the group, coming in from the cold?
Yes.
You have all these new perspectives of the legal practice and of GL law in particular. How would you say? To what extent do you agree with the Attorney Domantay, Attorney Socrates?
I agree fully that indeed dapat nga po the legal problems that may arise should have been, or as much as possible, should be prevented rather than remedied. Because uh, actually, there are so many things now in the legal profession that we observe. There are a lot of problems that could have been easily prevented in the first place, but uh, well, some Filipinos, they they would rather take the chance. They'd rather take that percentage of chance of not getting into trouble even without following the rules, something like that. But of course, sometimes well, it everything falls into blunder. No, so
Do you have any personal experience? Do you have any stories to share, war stories in the legal field
but
in terms of the current situation?
yeah, actually,
Mistakes that people made because of the pandemic, and then now they're approaching you because the problem has doubled, has gotten
yeah.
worse because they didn't talk to you in the first place.
Yes, I have. This is not with a law firm. This is with a friend. This some friend asked me about something related to the sale of a vehicle, but apparently, uh, this his situation is a little bit similar to what I have experienced in one of our clients. But anyway, this friend of mine, he asked me if he could. Uh, if he could do something, and I told him better not to pursue it because it's too risky. Even if he has good relationship with some of the parties, I think it's dangerous because the sale that he's going to be involved in or that he's planning to do is medyo complicated because it involves a property that is still in the name of a deceased person. Uh, Parang ganun. The one who sold it to him sold it to him was the an heir of that deceased person. So I was telling him, even if you're in good terms with the family, even if you think you can convince them to just execute an extrajudicial settlement and uh, make it uh, to do something to parang ma-register sa kanya diretso yung binili niyang property. I told him it's too risky. It's better if he goes to the proper process. So I think he heeded the advice.
He followed your suggestion.
I think so. I think so. I had no follow-ups. I just told him that's what I can advise to him. And if he will not do that, baka mahirapan siya in the future. So sabi niya lang, nagpasalamat naman siya, and I hope he followed the advice.
Mhm. I think that lines up with the personal motto of one of the founding partners in terms of it being better to err on the side of caution when it comes to legal matters. Would you say then that the law firm of Gia Law, it's been around for 4 years, I understand. Is that correct? It's been in existence as a
uh,
legal entity of Gia Law for about 4 years. How would you
yeah,
say
yeah.
then that it has made itself distinct from the other law firms? What makes it unique, aside from things like that kind of legal advice, for you to think of the long view, the long game, in terms of being cautious and being smart? What are the other things you would say would make the principles of being practiced in GLO unique from other companies, other law firms?
I think part of it is the three name partners. They have different backgrounds, uh, and their variety. It's like they have we have a variety of backgrounds or experience to follow, because these three name partners, they have their own practices in before forming the Gia law firm, and but their differences are complementary and they help us a lot. We actually have this regular lawyers meeting where everyone's there and all the partners are there. So they contribute. Uh, they mention their experiences when uh, some case is talked about, and even if the partner, even if it's assigned under one partner, the other partners try to help out, contribute, say something about the case that can help.
Mhm.
And because of that, I also find them um, parang they easily adapt to the younger generation.
Mhm.
Recently, we celebrated the 10th anniversary of the law firm, and we had a Zoom celebration online lang. But it was fun. It was fun. It was very light, and the partners
When
were
you
there.
mentioned the 10th anniversary, that's in the light of it in its original establishment when it was first set
Yes,
up in
yes,
Quezon City, right? But it wasn't known as
that's right.
GLO, I understand, right? But that was
That's right.
the
That's right.
initial
Yung
practice
ano,
of Attorney Gargantiel.
that's right. That's right.
That's right.
Sorry about that. Sorry for the confusion. But
Uh,
yeah, originally Attorney Chris started 10 years ago. So the Gargantiel Ilagan Etanante law firm uh, was formed in the early or a few years after that first year where Attorney Chris started. Now, also, the GL law firm has a distinct brand of service wherein even the smallest legal issues are dealt with the utmost effort and care and skill. And we have a junior partner, Attorney Arlene Borja, uh, with her, the firm is able to cope with all our clients' needs. And furthermore, we make sure that we are available for our clients, and we're always in open communication with them. And that in that way, we avoid the misunderstandings and common errors in practice.
By how much has GLO expanded over the past, say, um, 5 years? Because I understand Attorney Ilagan came in around 2013, and then Attorney Atanante followed thereafter. So let's say within the past 3 to 5 years, by how much has it expanded? You've had a junior partner, then you've had associate lawyers. What's the size of the company at present and the complement of staff?
I think the expansion was fast, no, relatively, especially in as a Quezon City law firm.
Mhm.
Although of course my knowledge of this is only hearsay. I've only heard of it
Okay,
from
so it's
the
inadmissible.
story.
Okay, you're off the hook.
Sorry.
But would you say
Uh,
then that because companies are we have to be realistic here. Companies are contracting. Businesses are having difficulty. GLO has the unique opportunity. You might say it's a blessing that it's actually thriving. Is that correct? Business is not exactly that bad.
sorry, I didn't catch. I think the first uh, at the beginning of the question, medyo nag-lag yung computer, yung
Mhm.
internet.
It's just that unusual yung situation ng GLO in that it's doing okay compared to other companies, particularly legal firms. It's
Yes.
actually doing okay, and there are actually opportunities for lawyers to work for GLO. Is GLO expanding?
Ah, yes, GLO is it entertains applications for young lawyers, new lawyers, and um, also for some other functions like accounting. And I think as a Quezon City firm and as a law firm, as we know, we've talked about earlier that there are struggles in different industries during the pandemic, not only financial but the other aspects related to it. Now, of course, Gia also experienced that struggle, economically speaking,
Yes,
but
no one is spared, but
mhm, but there's the partners, they really tried their best to do something about it. They of course they prioritize the safety of the employees, making
mhm,
sure that uh, we will not we can still work from
mhm,
home, and the secretaries and the messengers, they at as soon as possible time they can work at the office with the necessary health protocols. So in short, just like many other firms there, GL law firm has adopted measures to survive, no, to survive and to maintain the work that is doing,
mhm.
especially for the clients.
So thank you for that. And for all of you attorneys, you've actually shared with us your insights during this Manila Times Coffee Break webisode regarding the legal challenges and opportunities that work during pandemic. So thank you for that. At the same time, if I may ask each of you to just share with us what you admire about each other as a lawyer. Maybe we can get the ball rolling with Attorney Socrates. Uh, what do you personally like about Attorney Bautista as a lawyer? A few kind
As a
words,
lawyer,
perhaps.
yes, as a lawyer, I see Attorney Hazel Bautista as well, a good example, because um, I really appreciate their assistance, their effort to uh, make me feel comfortable in the firm, given that I'm the only one from another law school. All of them are from the same law school.
What's that? A better law school? I
No, I
nagkalag
mean,
siya. You
sorry,
said there
sorry.
it's a better law school?
uh, I meant they're in the same law firm.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, they're from the same law school. Law school. Sorry.
Mhm.
Uh, but even if they're batchmates, to add to that, no. But even if I'm not their batchmate, I'm not from the same law school. They're there to assist me in my struggles in adjusting with the system of the law firm, and also they know that it's my first time to work as a lawyer or in a law firm. So they uh, they constantly ask me, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" So
How about
I think
regarding
yeah.
Attorney Bautista, what do you personally admire about her skill and capability as a lawyer?
Si Attorney Hazel, she's very professional, and her seriousness at work is parang nakakahawa. It gives me also an air of I have to do well because my office mates like Attorney Bautista, they work intensely. So I think I also strive to do what they do. No.
Mhm. So Attorney Bautista, fierce ka pala.
So we've been working on several cases together. I think that's why he would want to say that.
Have you worked then closely with Attorney Romano for the past how long?
I think we have worked on various cases. However, these cases are different from each other, but are different from each other, but they are somehow connected.
How would you describe the professionalism, or what do you like about Attorney Romano as in terms of how he practices law?
In terms of how he practices law, what I like most about him is that he is very approachable. You can send him a message any time of the day or any time day of the week for that matter, and he would really coordinate with you on the cases.
Attorney Romano, any time of the day ba talaga?
Even any time of the night. Eh.
Also, um, he's not intimidated when in court. So that's what I like about him. He has this fighting spirit inside him that makes his blood rushing every time he's going to present a witness, every time he's going to cross-examine someone. I know that he's doing his best. He's doing his job well.
Thank you for that. Attorney Romano, very glowing words from Attorney Bautista. Do you have any kind words yourself for Attorney Dumantay? Ano yung
Uh,
favorite joke mo niya? Ano yung memorable units na sinabi mo na after tahimik, after the silence, bigla na lang may banat si Attorney Dumantay.
hindi joke eh. Parang alam mo yung nambabara siya. Parang nambabara, gano'n. So, parang napaisip ka na ang seryosong tao nito, ang tahitahimik, pero pag nambara, wagas, parang gano'n. Pero sa work, Attorney Domantay is very serious in handling cases. She makes sure that everything is parang maayos bago ma-file or bago ma-submit sa partners for review, ganyan.
Very thorough, yes.
Yes. Tapos, siya, very mataas yung drive niya in handling cases. Kahit nagpupuyat yan, abutin ng 4 a.m., kinabukasan may hearing, aalis ng bahay 6 a.m., kaya niya.
Mhm.
Very passionate.
Wala lang ligo-ligo, no?
Parang ligo lang pahinga, ganyan. Yes, passionate siya sa work and parang wala kang maririnig na reklamo sa kanya, work lang ng work. Although, syempre, lahat naman napapagod. Pero sa kanya, parang kayang-kaya naman niya.
So we know who we can rely on when we're in a crunch, si Attorney Dumantay.
Yes.
So, with Attorney Dumantay, do you feel the same way ba about si Attorney Socrates as the newbie, the freshman in the group? And as the non-bedan?
Yes, actually, although he's new, you can see that he's very passionate with his work, and he really tries to submit everything on time, and Anong tawag dito? Makikita niyo po na, tulad ng sabi niya kanina, he admires us and he strives. Makikita niyo po na he really strives to do good in his works po.
What do you like about yung manner niya of dealing with people as a lawyer? Kasi I think we sort of expect na dapat lang, di ba? Lawyer magaling, lawyer serious, lawyer has preparation. But person yan eh. Person you actually tell your secrets to. You kind of open yourself to, vulnerable ka because you are sharing the intimate parts that impact on the case, the details. No? How does your impression of him as a person who practices law, paano yung personality niya that wins you over as I want him to represent me, to be my legal counsel?
Aside from being passionate and hardworking, he also kahit na tahimik siya, he knows how to handle conversations well. Yes. And he tries to accommodate you. Even na medyo busy siya, ganun.
So, kahit harassed na siya and hassled, he has kind words to say. He'll
Yes, very kind
for you, makes you feel comfortable.
Yes.
Actually, I get that impression from all the attorneys present that you have parang hulma kayo from, I don't know if it's having seen each other every day, nagkakapalitan na kayo ng mukha or something, but I think you all infect each other with a sense of passion and that kind of it's not exactly seriousness, but I think it's that drive that was mentioned earlier, where you want to do your best for your client at the same time. You are watching, you are observing, and then just when you think na tahimik na, bigla na lang may pamatay na banat, as Attorney Romano says. So yun, thank you very much for your time. It's been very informative regarding the legal challenges and opportunities for the practice of law and for the redress of people's needs given this time of pandemic. And we know also na as lawyers, yung billable hours nyo medyo mahal na to, very expensive na ang aming pag-take up of your time. So thank you very much for sharing with our viewers your insights and your knowledge regarding GL law.